Hey guys, it is Sandra here. Welcome back for another makeup tutorial look. So today's look kind of changed. I was going to do a completely neutral everyday look for the everyday person with the Jeffree Star Orgy palette, but then I realized I haven't played around with my Colourpop Boudoir Noir palette, and I can also get an everyday look out of this palette. But also because I've just been doing so many Jeffree Star looks, and I'm really trying to brainstorm with all of the palettes that I have, old, new, doesn't matter, all of the different color combinations that I can do. So I have most of my February makeup looks already filmed, and this one again won't be until closer to the end of February. Anyway, I thought maybe I would do a look with this palette because I feel like maybe currently it's a bit more popular. And I love the colors. There are so many neutral colors in here. The last time I used this palette, I really did play with these two shades here, the olive and this kind of mustardy color. And I realized that, I love color. I love doing crazy makeup looks. And a lot of times, many people don't want that for an everyday wear kind of thing. So yes, we're not going out to a lot of places right now, just dropping our kids off at school, going to the grocery store, but maybe you want an everyday look just to kind of look put together. And if you are going to work, good for you. I'm glad that you're working and taking care of yourself right now in this craziness of life. And that would be for you as well. So, one of the things I guess that kind of sucks is that we have to wear masks. And if you are going out, you probably don't want to do the whole makeup thing on the face because, your makeup is just going to rub off on your mask. So, I've just been not doing lip stuff and having to wash my mask every time I wear it. But if you want to forego the foundation, the concealer, that kind of thing, or a good trick is just to put concealer around your eyes and foundation on the top half of your face and then leave the bottom half. It's entirely up to you, however you do it. I don't really know what people are doing because anyone who can work from home right now is trying to work from home. And if you're working in an industry where you're getting sweaty or dirty, you probably don't wear makeup anyway. So I'm not really sure who's doing what right now, but we're going to go ahead and do a look with this palette. This palette is just so beautiful, and I love the overall tone of it. I love the color selection. You've got like your really light colors for highlight. You've got this gorgeous color right here. This metallic I love so much. Gold I've really been staying away from, but there is a gold in the Latte 2 palette that I've been meaning to play with. I just haven't yet. We're just going to do a regular neutral eye, something that everyone can wear, and I'll just be doing mascara. I won't even do lashes because a lot of times if you're going to work or going to the grocery store, you don't have time for lashes, and a lot of people find them really uncomfortable or unnecessary for that matter. So what I'm going to do is start with an E25, a blending brush. So I'm just, it doesn't matter what the brand is. I use Sigma, they're my favorite brand, but you're looking for a brush that is a little bit wider on one side and then slimmer on the other. And it is a blending brush, but you can use it to initially pack on color as well. So I'm going to start in the crease with, I'm going to be using two shades and just kind of really blend it out. So I've got this Desire shade and I've got Silk Sheets. I wanted to go into Silk Sheets, but I want it to also be a mix, a neutral mix. So this is a little bit cooler and this is maybe a bit warmer, just kind of mustardy color. So I'm going to actually mix the two because why not? We can. So I will tap off the brush, start in the crease, and just kind of start to define the eye. And this is how I would do my makeup if I were going to a job. And I'm not sure if I ever told you guys this, but I used to work at Sobeys and I started, oh my gosh. So currently I was born in 82 and I am 30, how old am I? Am I 38 right now? I think I'm turning 39 in March. Anyway, so I started working at Sobeys in Shore Park, which is a small town outside of Edmonton, when I was I 19 or 20, around there. I was going to university and I was working part-time, and I think I started, that wasn't my very first job. My very first job was actually Flyers, and then I worked at McDonald's. McDonald's, I was literally getting paid $5.75 an hour. So, I mean, that was a long time ago. Coming from a point in time now where minimum wage is $15 an hour. So, crazy. But That's how much I was getting paid. I would only work weekends then. But at Sobeys, I would work full-time hours, but I was getting paid. I was only getting part-time, like no benefits or anything like that. And I worked at both stores. So I trained at the original store. They used to be called IGA. And there are still IGAs in existence in small towns in Alberta. These stores particularly were owned by independent people. And then I went to the new one, so that was kind of the intention. I was going to be trained at the old one, go to the new one, and I started as a cashier, worked my way up to supervisor really quickly. And even then, it wasn't called a supervisor, it was actually called a shift leader. And then I went from there, I went to Shaw, actually, Shaw Cable. Now they only have jobs in Calgary, I believe. They shut down their Edmonton branches. I believe, I'm not 100% certain, but a lot of people got laid off in like right before COVID or like last year or something. And, or maybe it was already 2 years ago. I don't remember. I didn't last there long because I had somebody swear to me. They called me so many names and they got me crying. And as a representative of Shaw, you weren't allowed to hang up the phone. You had to keep the customer on the phone. So it didn't matter what they said to you, you had to take the shit, which to me is like just so wrong. And I wish I had more balls, I guess, back then. And I wish I'd spoken up for myself and told the guy off. He was mad at me because his cable was shut off because he didn't pay his bill. Needless to say, I quit that very day. I hated that job so much. But I have a friend who is now a realtor that she actually got me that job, and I was very thankful that she did. The pay coming from like $5 at Sobeys, or maybe I was making $6.75 at that time, but the pay coming from that Sobeys job was incredible, and you would get commission checks, so it was just amazing. We're going to go into Hot Toddy now, so I'm going to darken up the outside corner using the same brush still. So anyway, I went back to Sobeys because I was going to U of A full-time. I was full-time student and I was working full-time hours, again, only getting paid as a part-time person, so they didn't have to pay me RSPs, they didn't have to pay me pension, they didn't have to pay for health benefits, because obviously workplaces here in Canada pay for at least half of your work benefits, and which is awesome. But as a part-time worker, they didn't have to do anything for me, and that was pretty much me not knowing and getting taken advantage of. So I was going to school, and that took a long time because I do have 2 degrees. And I was working at I believe it was I did go back to Sobeys in Sherwood Park for a little bit, and I quit there. I went to the Mill Woods branch for my Edmontonian friends who watch this channel. I went to the Mill Woods branch, worked there for many years, finally got on as supervisor instead of shift leader, and I worked there for a few years. And then I quit there and I worked at this place called Buxom Analytics. And that place was pretty much a soil company, soil analytics. So all I did was literally dug dirt. I tried to, that was literally what the job description was. I tried to advance, and because I was going in for a science degree, so I thought it would be the perfect job for me. And I got paid more money than Shaw, but I didn't get paid as much as other workers there who were doing the same job as me. So it was a little unfair. So I quit that job. And that was when my dad passed away, so I think that's why I quit. It was a bad time. I got shingles. My dad died. It was just so bad. So I quit my job to deal with all of that stuff. And then I went back to Sobeys. I believe I went back to Millwoods, Sobeys. And then after that, I went to a place called Hollick Canyon. So that's kind of when I transitioned to the north side of Edmonton, because that's where I currently reside. I went to Hollick Canyon. I opened that store, worked there for many years, and then finally somebody else ended up taking over my position when I went on mat leave with my son, and her and I did not see eye to eye. And I honestly don't know why, because I truly don't think I did anything wrong. She was trying to get me to not come back from mat leave, so she was trying to be very sneaky. I just don't really understand why, because I don't hate anybody. I don't know anybody enough to hate them, and she literally had a vendetta for me, and I have no idea why. Even to this day, nobody will even tell me. I have no idea. So anyway, I mean, it all comes down to jealousy. She was probably just jealous. So Then what happened was I quit that job. I went to another North End Sobeys called Newcastle, and I worked there for just over a year. There was also another girl that didn't like me very much, and I think it's because I got the position over her. She had applied for it as well, but I was more qualified, and I got a really high recommendation from my previous boss. So I worked there for a while and cleaned up their entire area. Like I actually went there as the store administration. So at the previous store, I was at store administration and file maintenance, and was store administration there. So I was doing all the paperwork, all the payroll, that kind of stuff. And then I actually got hired on as a temporary worker for head office. So I was the Northern Alberta specialist for front end and admin. And that didn't pan out well because as soon as I got the job, pretty much a couple months later, they like canceled everybody's positions from head office and they transitioned back to franchise stores, so they didn't need these specialists. I thought it was like so important. I got a couple of time opportunities to go to Calgary to do some training and stuff, and that was super cool. I got to work with a whole bunch of people that I really respected, and I also worked from home a lot, so I was able to care for my son better because I had to take him to daycare. I couldn't imagine having to take I couldn't imagine having to take my kid to daycare right now and then always have them cancel because of sickness. Like, that would just be the worst thing ever. And in my job, I wasn't really allowed to work from home, except in the specialist job. I was occasionally, but I was still supposed to work in the office occasionally. So I don't know. It was kind of hard. And then um, at the end, I just was so stressed out from all of the transition stuff that was happening because they wouldn't really tell you what was happening. And I was going to have to go back to my store and I didn't want to go back. So I ended up just quitting. And actually, to be completely honest, I was trying to get pregnant pretty much the last 5 years before that, and it wasn't happening. And it was just basically because of stress. So basically, as soon as I quit my Sobeys job, I got pregnant, which is really ironic, but it was guaranteed because of stress. I hated taking my kid to daycare. It was the worst experience ever. I searched for the best daycare in my area, and I still didn't find a completely good one. I was never really satisfied with it, and the workers honestly didn't really care about the kids. I won't talk about what daycare, but if you guys are interested, you can PM me and then I'll tell you if you're from Edmonton. But yeah, I didn't have the best situation anyway. And it was just difficult. And I actually got seriously depressed from working at Sobeys. And it was just so bad. Like, it was really bad. And I finally got pregnant, I quit my job. And then I think it was a year later, obviously, I started my YouTube channel before I got pregnant, but I think it all kind of worked out in the end. So then I started my YouTube channel and been working towards the goal of working for myself ever since. And now that I've experienced what it is to work for myself, even though I'm not getting paid, but I'm hopefully will this year for 2021. Now that I've got this experience under my belt, I'm just so thankful that I have it, and I will never go back to work for anybody else ever again in my life. Um, it's just ridiculous the things that that you do and have to do, and you get paid so little for all of the things that you do. The only downfall to working for yourself is not having healthcare paid for and having to pay more tax, because when you work for a company, they already take a whole bunch of tax off. So those are the only downfalls. I'm gonna go ahead and take silk sheets now and put this on the lower lash line. So yeah, that's pretty much my experience working for, well, I guess pretty much my entire working career, really, because and this is a smudge brush. This is the E21 by Sigma. I mean, I learned a lot of things along the way. I met a lot of different people, some good, some bad, of course, like everybody in this world. And it was interesting experiences anyway. And I wouldn't be me if I didn't have those experiences. But it is interesting when you meet different people. Doing an online kind of career is a completely different reality than working at a job, because when you're working at a job, you actually see people face to face, you talk to people, and when you're doing something like I'm doing, like a YouTube channel, you just talk to the camera a lot. And the only interaction that you ever get is when people respond to your video, whether that's leaving you a comment or um, just kind of like interacting, like liking the video. And like I've said, one of my pet peeves, and I know that this is going to be a thing forever because I've got a YouTube channel online, it's the internet, but is when people dislike the video, and guaranteed it's probably like someone really hateful. Like, I shouldn't even say that. I guess that's the wrong word to say. It's either like a person that I used to know that is just giving my video a thumbs down because either they're jealous or because they're um I don't even know why. Like, I don't even want to try to figure out why, because it's not really none of my business. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, if you actually have negative criticism, you should leave it in the comments, because then I can grow from it. And if it's just hateful, it can be deleted. So like it's completely, I don't even know how to say it really. It's just interesting because it doesn't matter if it's my channel or anyone's channel. You get like the most famous person, they get lots of thumbs down as well. And it's not the thumbs down that bothers me, it's the reason behind it. Like, I would like to know why, and I wish that YouTube would do a thing where you could only give a thumbs down if you give a reason. Because I know when I watch YouTube, I never give anybody a thumbs down. If there's something that needs attention, I'll usually leave a comment or something that I want to comment on. And if I hate the video, I just don't watch it, because that's kind of how, um, you know, isn't that what anyone would do? Like, I don't know. It's just, it's interesting. I'm just blending this out now. I'm actually using Melt, which is a shade here, to blend out the lower lash line a bit. I could just talk your guys' ear off because, again, we haven't really been going anywhere or leaving the house. So, gotta talk to somebody, even if that somebody is my camera, and after my camera, you guys. Okay, so I just defined the lash line a little bit. If I'm gonna do a look like this, I probably wouldn't wear liner. And I did do this quite a bit darker than I initially intended. And that's only because I didn't want to dip into this shade. It is a bit sparkly, but if you wanted it warmer, you could. I feel like now that this is pretty dark, but I'm going to go ahead and add a sparkle shade to the lid. I'm going to use Body Language, which is actually still darker than I originally intended. I'm going to use Body Language and pop this on the inner corner part. Because I want to use Goodnight, which is that gorgeous sparkle color, on the inner corner. And usually for inner corner work, I go into my highlighter palette. My favorite one is my Mary Lou, which has actually been my favorite pretty much ever since I started my makeup. That's really pretty, and it still looks neutral. So I'm going to take my teeny tiny LO4 detailed lip brush, dip it into Goodnight, and just place it on the inner corner. I always feel like when I have a shadow inner corner highlight, they always go on better with setting spray. I just don't want to use a setting spray right now. Okay, so a little bit under the brow. And I'm going to go ahead and pop on some mascara. I'm using my L'Oreal Voluminous Extra Collagen Mascara. And it's funny because I don't have the names of this mascara on it. I can't read it. And I didn't know that the name was, that was the name until just very recently. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this on, and I will be back, and we will put on some lip gloss, and I will show you the completed look. Guys, so that is it. I like this. It's simple and pretty, and it still has sparkle, still has definition on the eye. And I like it because usually when I wore eyeliner to work, I would usually get like eyeliner smears, especially if you go to scratch your eye. And something like this, once your mascara dries, you really don't smear anything, and the shadow doesn't really come off. So you guys know that I love my gloss, and I'm going to be putting on my Buxom lip polish. This is the shade Sarina. It's more of a brown tone. I just need a little bit. Basically, in this time right now, you probably wouldn't be wearing gloss, so it's kind of a personal preference if you want to put some on, or even just use a lip balm, because pretty much if you're going out anywhere, just your eyes show anyway. But yeah, I remember when I was working, the one thing that I loved, working pretty much in the front end, so as a cashier or as a front end supervisor, I loved doing makeup. I don't think I have any pictures from when I did my makeup back then because obviously I wasn't on YouTube. I didn't really take pictures of my makeup looks, but I used to love colorful makeup and I used to pile on the mascara. I used to wear colored contacts, if you can believe it. I had green ones, which were really pretty, and I think one time I did try the golden color, which were really interesting, but they're really bad for my eyes because your eyes can't breathe, and I would wear mine for like 12 hours a day, so it wasn't very healthy. And now I just have clear contacts, but I don't wear them if I'm not going anywhere. So as today, I'm not going anywhere and I can still see fine. It just, they allow me to see a little bit better, but I still have really good vision, even without my contacts. So I like how it looks with the kind of a muted brown tone on the lower lash line. And when you put mascara on, it just kind of opens up your eyes a bit. And so, yeah, this is a bit darker than I intended, but I would wear this. This is, I'd consider this a natural everyday makeup look. It's very neutral and still pretty. Still looks like you have makeup on and your face is done up, but it doesn't look over the top or too extravagant. And this is totally a nice work look. The one thing I didn't do was actually use highlighter. It's probably one of the crazier things that, like, I don't think I ever used highlighter until I started doing my makeup on my YouTube channel and watching other people use highlighter, because I never really thought you needed it, and you don't if you want to have a natural look. I'm pretty sure that when you use a highlight, like, honestly, when I'm looking at my face right now, it already looks like I have a highlight here on my cheek, like a really subtle highlight, because I'm wearing a blush. I actually use the Too Faced Papa Don't Peach. I'm wearing a blush that has a little bit of sparkle in it. So if you're in the right lighting, your face will automatically pick up on those highlight spots, like here on my nose. And going to work, I probably wouldn't use highlighter. Doing my makeup in front of a camera, I do use highlighter, just not today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick makeup look. And actually, it was me more rambling than anything. It's about half an hour. So I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you're staying safe still. I am just ready for this whole, you know, pandemic to be over, as is everybody else. I'm pretty sure. I know I don't get a lot of viewers on this channel, but leave me a comment down below if you'd be interested in hearing a blog on my website about the pandemic and my feelings on it. I'm gonna name it The Pandemic and trying not to be political. So obviously I will be being political because it's kind of just being a little sarcastic, because I have one of my feelings on it is that the government has played a huge role in where our society is at right now. And without saying too much, I'd rather let everybody read it. I'm just a little afraid of backlash because people feel very strongly about everything surrounding the pandemic and people passing away and people being affected. But I have strong opinions on it. I just don't usually talk about it because I try to keep my YouTube channel is very fun, light, and airy. I don't really want to talk about negative stuff, but sometimes those negative things have to be discussed. And I feel like there's one side of things on that whole topic that keeps getting shut down. I don't know if it's by, you know, large corporations, the government's in control of those corporations. So anyway, the side that I'm going to speak for, those are the topics that keep getting shut down and nobody really talks about it. Nobody discusses it. Nobody reads about it. So that's what I want to talk on. So if you're interested in hearing something like that, let me know down in the comments and I can direct you over to my website. It's www.sandradahl.ca. I also post any of my blog topics on a site called Medium, where readers and writers gather to share information, ideas, and stories. And this video is not sponsored at all or anything. I just like to talk about it because if you are a member, that is how the writers get paid. It's also about sharing information, and it's kind of another platform where I can get my ideas across and my values and my thoughts, I guess. So, and like when a writer writes something to get the word out or what their opinion is or whatever it is, people don't have to agree with them. And the thing is, most people probably won't. And I think that's what makes for an interesting read, is if you don't always see eye to eye. And because it's a piece of writing, it's not really like anyone can argue back. They can leave comments and stuff, but you can't really tell the writer to shut up, you know what I mean? Like, so that's one good aspect, I guess, of having it written down, is that sure you can get comments, but writing on something so political, I don't know if that's it's kind of like talking about conspiracy theories. A lot of people just don't really want to hear negative stuff. So I don't know. Like, let me know what you guys think anyway, because and I know I do have a lot more people watching this channel than are subscribed. So basically, for anyone who's watching, just let me know what you think and what you'd like to hear. Again, will be based on a Canadian perspective because I'm from Canada and I don't have any experiences from the States. I don't know what people are going through all over the world. I just know my perspective. So if you're interested in hearing that, check it out. And I probably won't post it for a couple of weeks because still writing some thoughts down and getting organized, but I do have a lot to say on the topic. So it will probably be a longer read. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please give it a like up if you did. Also, if you're new here, I'd love if you would subscribe. Please help out my little tiny makeup YouTube channel. And we will talk to you guys again soon. Bye now.